How's it going, everybody? Evader here, coach of the New York Scraftys, bringing you your week 3 against Christian in the GPC. And Christian's team is consisting of Celesteela, Kraydilly, Heliolisk, Salazzle, Donphan, Mega Altaria, Crobat, Slowbro, Munchlax, Pinsir, Chestnut, and Absol. His Z captains being Celesteela and Absol. So I put stars next to the Pokemon that I think he's going to bring, and I'll go over what sets I think he's going to bring in the actual battle. But let's get right into my team, starting off with Electros. Now, Electros. This is a similar set to what I brought week 1 against Dai. It's Max Assault Vest. Because his Salazzle is a huge offensive presence to my team. So I need something to take hits well, and even this doesn't do the best of job at it, but it's good enough, especially since even without special attack investments, Hidden Power Ground Oko Salazzle indefinitely, unless he is a really bulky Salazzle, but if he's a bulky Salazzle, it's not the biggest threat to my team. Electros is also important because his defensive core does not take electric moves that well, that being Slowbro and Celesteela. So Thunderbolt instead of Volt Switch, just to get that extra damage, maybe weaken his wall so that another one of my mons can just break through. Acid Spray, because I'm running no special attack for his other mons that aren't, his defensive core that I mentioned, Slowbro and Celesteela and the Salazzle, they take hits relatively well. So Acid Spray will help out with that by cutting his Spadef in half every time I use it. And Giga Drain is just for residual recovery against Mons, because I am not breaking a Cleric, and I have no real way of healing Electros if it gets too low. So Giga Drain is just to, if the situation calls for it, help out a little bit with that. He also has a Donphan, so Giga Drain is just so I actually have something to hit that well with. So that's the reason for this Electros being brought. So let's move on to this Charizard X. Ta-da! Yes, looking at his team, looking at my team, I know he 100% has to bring Slowbro. It's a very good defensive presence against my Landorus and my Mega Charizard X, which are two of my biggest threats on my team. I am bringing Sub Sunny Day Special Charizard X, because if Slowbro does come in on my Charizard, anticipating a physical move, if I'm in on something that will threaten out, like maybe the Celesteela or the Chestnut, he'll switch out into Slowbro indefinitely to try and take the hits. That's where I will not Mega Evolve and Sub, then I'll Sunny Day, because then thanks to my bulk, my Sub will not break. Oh, I think I Mega Evolve and then Sub, so my Sub won't break. I actually think I can be in normal form, and the reason why I might want to stay in normal form is because of Solar Power. This will give my Special Charizard X, with just those two moves, enough to really decimate the team that he has. The Solar Power boost in the Sun, max special attack modest. It's gonna hurt, especially since Mega Charizard X, technically his special attack is just as good as his physical attack. It's just that Tough Claws really makes him a physical monster. But doesn't mean he's absolutely useless on the special side. And knowing that my opponent will most likely anticipate the physical Charizard X, prep for it with Slowbro, this might throw off his game plan, especially with Solar Beam and Flamethrower putting a huge hole in his team. I'm also pretty bulky, not just so that Sub won't break with Slowbro, so that even after Sub, I can take Infiltration from Crobat if it does decide to come. So the next Pokemon I am deciding to bring, as you can see, is Landorus. Now you may be thinking, why is there a Yachi Berry there with no Ice type? Well, outside of Slowbro, he doesn't have a 100% solid way to actually take Landorus down super effectively. Unless it's Hidden Power Ice Celesteela, Hidden Power Ice Salazzle, Ice Shard Donphan, Ice Beam Slowbro, Ice Punch Chestnut. So I think 100% just because I have a Landorus, he has to bring an Ice move somewhere. So this is just so that Landorus can get up rocks if I need to get up rocks, if they're not up yet, or defog if he has hazards up and Charizard needs to come in. Earthquake Stone Edge is just 2 offensive moves to hit his team. Earthquake for stab, Stone Edge so I'm not uselessly on Celesteela, which even it's not doing that much there, and Crobat. And that's my reasoning for Yache Berry Landorus. In hindsight, may not be the greatest idea, but I wanted a utility Landorus with rocks defog, so going for power wasn't needed. Maybe I should have been Pasho Berry, just because there is a Slowbro. But what Slowbro doesn't have Ice Beam? Come on. So moving on to the next Pokemon is my Wall Breaker, or just my puncher, my team puncher, Alakazam. This Alakazam's sole purpose is just to do damage. I do intend on winning with either my Zardex or this, so they are my damage dealers for this team. And this set allows me to hit most of his team for super effective damage, I think, except Munchlax and Mega Altaria. So this is the reasoning for this Alakazam. Alakazam hits really hard against this team. There's not much that wants to switch into it, especially if I get reads right. But vice versa, if I get reads wrong, he could bring in things and easily turn the table against me. So I do have to be careful when I bring in Alakazam and what it's doing. So moving on to my next Pokemon, I do have especially defensive Electros, so I'm bringing physically defensive Tangrowth. Rocky Helmet, because this thing can eat up hits from +3 Altaria and maybe do damage back. If he decides to set up on it, it's going to not be good because I'll be getting residual damage on it, while once it does hit me, it will take Rocky Helmet damage. Knockoff is just to get rid of items. If he is similar to last week, I'm sorry, I was trying to find the right sentence there. Similar to last week, he needs to have a lot of recovery on things. Slowbro needs recovery. So does Greedilly. So does Chestnut if it's defensive. So is Celesteela if he's not Z. So that's my reasoning for knockoff, just to disrupt his natural flow of recovery. Giga Drain, Donphan. Leech Seed for more recovery for me. And Hidden Power Flying because I do think the Chestnut will be coming. And it can't really touch me thanks to my spread. And as for my last Pokemon, as you can see, it is Primarina. This is Assault Vest Primarina, so I'm bringing 2 Assault Vest Mons. And its speed allows me to outspeed 4-speed Chestnut if it is defensive. The rest going into special attack, and I'm going into pure special defense just to soak up hits from Salazzle a little better. And yeah, that's the whole reason what this Primarina does. It's just here to do damage, punch holes in this team so that Alakazam and Charizard can hopefully push down the rest. So yeah, guys, that's my team builder for week 3, and I'll see you guys in the actual battle. Peace out. Hey guys, welcome to the week 3 game. And looking at his team, he brought 5 out of the 6 Pokemon I thought he was going to bring, as he did bring Greedilly over Chestnut. So that worries me because I didn't prep for the Greedilly. So he probably sees that I don't have a solid answer for it. So he's going to lead with it, since that it's either his Stealth Rocker or it's Donphan. But I don't think he would bring Greedilly if it wasn't Rocks. So I am going to lead Landorus as he leads Greedilly. And my reasoning for this also is because between Donphan and Slowbro, I do think this is going to be especially defensive Greedilly. I can't see him bringing 3 physical walls. So Earthquake should be doing over half if I got my calcs right, as that is what happens. It is over half. And so I actually think that this Greedilly is going to go for Rocks right here, as he actually gets a Toxic. So seeing that his Greedilly is about to die and he doesn't want to lose the numbers advantage this early, I do think he's going to switch into something like Celesteela or Donphan. So I do set up my rocks here as he does go into Celesteela. So I always have an answer for this, that being my Electros. If it's physical Celesteela, EQ, Heavy Slam will not be doing much. If it's special Celesteela with my spread, it won't be doing much either, and I can threaten it out. So I go into Electros as he does go for Air Slash. So now he does see that I'm really bulky Electros. So knowing that this Celesteela has to leave, I do predict that he's going to go into Donphan to take the T-Bolt. So I am going to go for Giga Drain right now as he actually goes into Cradilly. So this is a problem because due to my spread, I really can't stop this Cradilly from healing up. But I can cut his defenses in half. So he's going to Synthesis here. Well, I'm going to Acid Spray, as I wouldn't be able to take him out anyway. As he does recover, I'm sorry, not Synthesis. As this actually puts pressure, I didn't pause it in time, but this actually puts pressure on him, knowing that this can't happen again. And for his Cradilly, because I will be able to take it out, and he needs to go into something. So he goes into Donphan, as I do Acid Spray twice. This is a risky move, considering as Celesteela could have came in, but once Celesteela is in, what's it really going to do? So now that he's -2 Spadef again, he does not, I revealed Giga Drain to him, he does not want to take a Giga Drain. So I'm actually predicting him to go into Celesteela to take the Giga Drain, and then make a double out into Cradilly, knowing as that I can't Acid Spray on the Celesteela. That will be that will give him too much momentum. As he actually does go into Cradilly, not Celesteela, on the Giga Drain, which also makes sense because I wouldn't Acid Spray again. So now I'm predicting him to either set up rocks or go for Toxic on my Electros. I'm leaning more toward Toxic on this Electros. So I am going to go into my already Toxic Landorus, as I do make that read wrong, and he gets up rocks. So this is actually pretty bad, because now he rocks up. So now predicting the switch into Celesteela, because I am going to go for a Stone Edge here, as I miss, unfortunately. But he stays in and goes for cover, which is not a play I necessarily agree with. I don't agree with that play. I think Celesteela should have 100% been the play for him, even if I was going for Edge. This Landorus is just too threatening for him, but obviously it works out for him. So, there's nothing you can do. I can't argue with his logic, seeing as it worked. So now my Landorus is just taking too much damage due to Toxic Ticks. So I go back into Electros, because even though I can't do anything to him, he can't do anything to me, as he actually makes the play for Slowbro. I was not predicting that. I wish I was that genius. I think I was more or less thinking that if he was going to switch it would be Celesteela, because Landorus, now that he knows two of my moves, that my Landorus really can't touch that Celesteela too hard, especially if he's physically defensive. So I am going to get to fire off a Thunderbolt here. This reveals to me that he is Assault Vest Slowbro, which is really cool. But unfortunately for my opponent, I do get the parried, but luckily he doesn't get full parried, and he has to get some amount of damage on me. No burn, though. As the Cradilly comes out, knowing that the Slowbro cannot stay in whatsoever, I do Acid Spray here, which is good on my part. This will get more damage. I believe I Thunderbolt. No, I think I Thunderbolt here, actually, predicting the... Oh, no, actually, I'm sorry. I just saw that I Giga Drained. So out comes the Celesteela, as I do believe I Thunderbolt now. Yes, predicting the Celesteela, I do Thunderbolt, seeing as Giga Drain for recovery, Acid Spray for more damage. Celesteela was the play there. So I did Thunderbolt. And unfortunately for my opponent, again, I do get another Paralysis, which is really bad, because now this Celesteela is virtually useless. As, yes, my opponent is going to sack his Celesteela here, which is really unfortunate for him, as I get an unnecessary crit. So, my Electros is getting really low due to Toxic Ticks. Acid Spray, Giga Drain will probably not be giving me the recovery I really need for Electros to do much more work in this game. So he probably, knowing that I'm either going to switch or stay in and can't do much to this Altaria, I do predict him to set up. I didn't predict him to Mega Evolve because I did reveal Acid Spray, and that is my more likely move to go for if I do stay in. So he is going to take me out here with a return. So down goes my Electros, but Electros did really well. It took down the Celesteela. It put a big hole in that Slowbro, which is amazing. He whittled down the Credillion and burned some of its recovery turns, and it did chip some damage on that Donphan. So Electros, again, leading with it, staying in with it, just busting up teams with it, pays out a little well for me again, similar to week 2. Hopefully we don't have the same result, though, as this Altaria isn't going to roost on my Leech Seed. I actually predicted him to switch out or set up again there. But seeing Roost is really worrying for me. Because now he can set up Roost as much as he wants. But I do think I can out-hit him with this. So I am going to stay in with Tangrowth as he does continue to set up. Getting Giga Drains for recoveries. Chipping away Leech Seed. I actually do go for a Hidden Power Flying on this turn. He's going to take Rocky Helmet damage. Hidden Power Flying is going to do more damage than Giga Drain. And the Leech Seed is going to take him out. So Tangrowth getting a kill. I decided that I don't want anything to take this hit. So Tangrowth just goes down here. I'm perfectly fine with that. Salazzle can have my Tangrowth. Now, my Landorus. I was really hoping he would HP Ice here to not risk the Fire Blast miss. If he did have HP Ice. Because I would live with Yachi Berry and I would get rid of these rocks with Defog. But he either doesn't have HP Ice or he just decided Fire Blast was the better play. So that's what happens here. So I go into Primarina because I know I can live any hit from the Salazzle and Revenge kill it. Me going into Primarina actually probably tells him that. I'm Assault Vest, so he was probably going to switch out into Cradilly, which is what happens. So I do go for Moonblast. No, I'm sorry, I go for Scald. I should have went for Moonblast there, actually. But I go for Moonblast. It does 39 as he recovers. So I'm like, oh no. So I go for Moonblast and I get a crit. So really hack team match so far in my favor. 2 paras and a crit. Really hurt my opponent here. He does Toxic here. And running Calcs, I do believe, since he Toxic here, there is a chance that I could pick up this Cradilly following with another Moonblast. It was very unlikely, though. Very unlikely. I'd have to get a max roll here and max roll-ish, a high roll on, on the next one. So, yeah, very unfortunate for my opponent that I got this crit here because I will be able to take him out with another Moonblast. So that's what's going to happen. I'm going to Moonblast, get another unnecessary crit. And Salazzle's going to come in. And running Calcs, I am AV with a lot of Spadef bulk. This Sludge Wave cannot OHKO me. Like, ever. It can't happen. So he's going to Sludge Wave, and I am going to be able to take out the Salazzle with the Scald. So I'm going to go down to my Toxic, as Slowbro's going to come out with Alakazam. Energy Ball is going to... He's going to live the Energy Ball due to the Assault Vest. But I just click Energy Ball 2 more turns, and I am going to win this game. So the New York Scraftys do get their first win in Week 3 of GPC. But I don't feel great about it. There was a lot of hacks in my favor. He definitely played extremely well. It's the game we play, and sometimes no matter how good you are, you can't beat out RNG. I've been on the other side of it. I know the feeling, so I definitely feel bad for my opponent. But we do pick up a win, so I am happy about that, and hopefully we can go into Week 4 and take another W, and hopefully be a more fair game. So thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye.